What's up? I'm back. I'm gonna start a new segment. It's gonna be on health, like my health series. And I feel that the line of defense is really healing and health. And in general, you really can't do anything else if you don't really get your health straight. You can't do anything else. Spirituality, anything, money, anything, relationships. So I feel that I have to give more attention to health. And in this segment, I'm going to talk about the power of alkaline water and water in general. Water as an element is very powerful. In both health systems, both magical systems, everything. Water is like, takes center stage in most things. When you're dealing with water for your health, water is extremely important because you realize that your body is mostly water. And this is not going to be a video on magic and stuff like that, so we're going to stick to the health benefits of water. Water is extremely powerful because when you realize that even things like aging, water actually even has a lot to do with how much you age, because human beings are mostly water, but yet, for instance, like when a baby is born, a baby can be like 85% water. Some people say 90, but it could be like 85% water. When you get to be, middle age, you start probably between 70%. You get to be real elder, you might be 65%, maybe 60 sometimes. And you see the correlation. When you get older, you start losing water, right? And your body becomes more fit, basically more hard. And like in Taoism, your body becomes harder. And what happens is that water in itself, as some even scientists have done experience, out of water elements, is the most receptive to your thoughts. So water even helps when you think positive. Water actually responds to this, to your thoughts. There are people who actually done experiments on this, and it's extremely important because you realize, number one, water is extremely important. It's the center of everything you do, whether you're talking about health, magic, anything. Number two, it's also the quality of water that you drink. Most when you study something called the pH balance, right? You have the alkaline, you have the acid. Water in general, but in the past, water used to be very alkaline and extremely alkaline. Now you're getting water that has readings of 6, 6.5, and you could buy alkaline stick in the store or internet and test your water out, and you start getting water with alkaline readings of 6 or 6.5. I mean, Fiji water is considered great. That has 7.5. That's considered top-notch water. Like when you deal with water that's non-alkaline, and when you look at it, you say to yourself, "Oh my God!" Like Fiji water is 7.5. Most Deer Park, Poland Spring, Avion, you're talking about 6. To really get real healing, your water alkaline level should be probably about. Some people say higher than 9.6. I can say you could get away with 8.5. And when you start dealing with stuff that high, you start realizing that you may not be able to get that through the traditional water sources. So because you can't get that through traditional water sources, what happens is that then you have to come and you then have to basically what I would call buy what you call alkaline water, or get a machine that distills your water enough that it becomes alkaline. And that's extremely important because what happens is alkaline water is extremely, like if you buy it in the store, usually you're not going to get it at the supermarket, even though some supermarkets have water from certain sources that are more alkaline. So you have water from certain sources that are more alkaline that's like 8.5 naturally. I would prefer, if you have to get that over the water that's put in the machine. And the machine makes it alkaline, no question. So some supermarkets have it, but in general you have to go to health food stores. And the reason why alkaline water is so important is because if you start saying that healing takes place between 8.5 and 9.6, and I'm saying that water is extremely important, what's the correlation? The correlation is that when you're drinking regular water, you have your healing, it has a minimum effect on how much you heal. Especially since your body should be a healthy body should be like 7.3 and up, alkaline level. If you're drinking water that's below a 7, you have to understand, water is not something you can play with. That's supposed to be very alkaline. It's like you have a chess game, and there's some pieces you're gonna lose. If you're gonna eat some bread and chicken, you cannot afford to have water that's not high because the bread and chicken is really low. If you're drinking sodas and stuff like that, it's even worse. So when you're drinking water that's 6, 6.5 alkaline level, you're playing into the game because at the end of the day, water is the most important out of anything. It's the most important element to your body out of any one of the elements. Even when we talk about eating healthy, Vegetables and fruits are mostly water. So even when people talk about being a raw food eater and stuff like that, or electrical diet, right? What is that? That's just basically water. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. Whatever you're dealing with magic, whatever you're dealing with health, water, that's where it starts with. You need to treat water like the U.S. government treats oil. It's a hot commodity. And that's something that you need to get into. Alkaline water is important to get that because at the end of the day, alkaline water is a high degree. And when you start talking about 7, 8, and 9, when you study but the acid versus alkaline levels, the pH balance, like if you deal with 6, right, which is where most water is, right? 7 is like 10 times more alkaline than 6. 8 is like 100 times more alkaline than 6. 9 is like 1,000 times more alkaline than 6. So when you have a water that's 9.5 or 9, right, like one of the brands I drink, you realize that that's extremely important, and that's why most people who drink alkaline water could tell you when you drink it, you keep wanting to drink it more. When you start talking about having a good diet and stuff like that, fruits and vegetables just water. Water mixed with a slightly different element, right? That's all fruits and vegetables, it's just water. Your blood is 94% water. Once you get in that water mindset, you realize the start and the beginning is water. Being that water is tainted, alkaline water is extremely important to understand because you need water on that level now to even function. And there are ways you could get alkaline. I mean, there's ways. I mean, if it's too expensive, there's other ways you could get it. You could put some lemons in it. There's different ways to get alkaline. You understand? But the difference is, alkaline water and water in general has become the center of your diet when it comes to eating right. Because end of the day, even when you're doing breathing exercises, air is just a form of water. Everything is water. And once you understand that, and if you're watching this video, you're into health, you might be into magic, water is important to both. So alkaline water is something that we must all get into. It's something that you could research, you could check it out. It's a much higher level than regular water. It's something that there's different types of alkaline water, of course. If I were you, I'll get water that's naturally alkaline. If you can't get that, and what you should do is also invest in an alkaline stick. So you can actually test your water right now. So you can test your own water to see how your water is, and you'd be embarrassed when you start doing it to your own water at home. If you talk about pipe water, it's definitely acid, but even spring water. So until next time, peace.